Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Prog Review, and today we've got something special, something I know you're all going to enjoy. It's a review of the new Pink Floyd box set. Hello, welcome to program 12 of Prog Review, and today I've got something you're going to be excited to watch. It's the review of the new Pink Floyd box set. Hello, welcome to episode 12 of Prog Review, and today I've got something very, very special to show you. It's a review of the new Pink Floyd box set. That's right. Here it is. It's the right one this time. It is the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon Immersion box set. And it's, what can you say? It's a veritable feast of music. And I'm stuffed because I've been listening to the whole thing today. And well, I hope I never ever have to listen to Dark Side of the Moon again. I'm kidding. I don't mean that. It's been a long day. When I was born, I would have been 2 years old when the Dark Side of the Moon was originally released, and I think I bought my first copy when I was about 13, and I had the posters up on my wall, and I used to play the vinyl, and well, I used to play it every day. It was just one of those records. I think it's a special record for many people. It's a white man's soul record. It's about love, life, death, money, taxes, going slightly mad, all on a vinyl platter. What more could you want? What more could you want from an album? And for whatever reason, the bigwigs at EMI suggested that Pink Floyd release this 6-disc set. There's 3 CDs, 2 DVDs and a Blu-ray to make your way through. And I'm going to talk about my experiences of the set. I'll go through it disc by disc, then we'll talk about the extras. That's probably the best way to approach it. Well, first up is disc 1 is the album itself. It's the original album. It's been remastered, the 2011 remaster. Now, I was a bit disappointed. I didn't notice that much difference to the last remaster, which I think was in 2003 or something, when they brought out the SACD edition. Yeah, it sounds clean, it sounds fresh, but the thing is Dark Side of the Moon is a pretty well recorded album anyway. It's not an album that requires a lot of remastering. It sounded good on vinyl, it sounded good on the original CD, and sometimes you've got to wonder why these things need to be remastered. Disc 2 in the set is the whole live version of Dark Side of the Moon, recorded at Wembley in 1974. I'd never heard this before. I'm not a bootleg fan. I don't tend to track down a lot of bootlegs. I know there are people out there that's their game. So for me, it was quite interesting to hear Floyd at this period playing the whole album live. It's really good. It's a really good live recording. I'd read somewhere that they replaced some of the bass drum because the microphones were pointing the wrong way, but it's hardly noticeable on this. It's a really tight recording. It's really enjoyed it. Really thought it was good. Now, you've got 2 DVDs worth on here. Discs 3 and 4 are both DVDs. I'm just going to skip those because all that material is reproduced on the Blu-ray disc, and I sampled that this morning. What you get is the 5.1 surround sound mix. Now, again, I was a bit disappointed because I thought it might have been like a 2011 version, but it isn't. It's the 2003 version, which was only available on SACD. So this time around, it's the first time it's been made available on DVD and Blu-ray. So for those of you who haven't got an SACD player, it's going to be a real treat, and I thoroughly recommend it. I mean, the SACD mix of it was pretty cool, and this transfer, it's exactly the same. Very clean, enveloping. You'll hear the record in a completely new way. The sound effects panned around the surround sound spectrum, so your brain's given a little bit of work to do, and it sounds really, really good. You've also got the original stereo mix from 1973. Again, sounds really clean, sounds really good. I'm not sure why it's on there. I guess it's for the audio files. It's good. One thing that's really interesting is you've also got the quad mix of Dark Side of the Moon from 1973, and I thought this was really a really funky addition to the set. Whereas with the 5.1 surround sound, you got 5 speakers and your subwoofer. The quad version would have been how you'd have heard it back in the 70s on a quadraphonic setup, and it really does sound like something from the 70s. There's a little bit of bass definition missing. You also get some interesting panning with the surround sound channels when they like with Us and Them. When they do the multiple panning of the vocals, it gets bounced around in an interesting way. And I thought it was really interesting. It really, it really made me, really transported me back in time. And if you're of a certain age, or maybe you had a quadraphonic set back in the day, I think you're going to be more than satisfied with the quad mix. Then you've got some live material on there, live in Brighton in 1972. You've got 2 tracks, Careful That Axe Eugene and Set the Controls to Heart the Sun. They're standard performances. What I was surprised what was missing was like a whole video performance of the band of that era doing Dark Side of the Moon. I'm not sure if there's one available, but if there was one, it should have been included. Or perhaps they could have taken the stuff from the Pulse DVD and included it on the Blu-ray or something, just to make it a more complete package. There's also a Dark Side of the Moon documentary from 2003. I think that was produced when the SACD 30th anniversary mix came out. It's okay. I think again what would have made an interesting addition was if they'd have got the rights to the classic albums making of Dark Side of the Moon, which is a really good documentary. Would have really added to the box set value. But again, I'm quibbling there. And then the really curious video items are the concert films, the films that were used on the back projection for the band. You've got the British version, the French version, and the North American tour version, and the films are slightly different. You get different content. Now I was expecting it to be maybe like a full mix, but you only get like introductions of songs, and songs fade out, and I guess it's okay. It's a reference for those of us who weren't there at the time, but I didn't quite get the context. I thought it might have been more interesting if they'd have integrated it in with the actual main mix, the 5.1 surround sound mix. Because what's interesting about the surround sound mix is on the Blu-ray and on the DVD is you don't get any visual content with any of the playback. All you get is a black screen, which I thought was a bit of a missed opportunity. They could have worked in some visual content in with the surround sound mix, just to give you something to think about. And again, these tour films would have made a good addition. Throw in some Storm Thorgerson artwork, and it would have made it a more interesting resolution. So instead all you get when you listen to these surround sound and quad mixes is a black screen to stare at, which is quite unusual. When you're listening to one of those things, you usually get like the album artwork on the screen. But again, I'm quibbling. Maybe it was done for a reason. And on the last CD, there's a 6th CD. You get again, it's another interesting early mix of the album, which was done by Alan Parsons. Some of the electronic introduction is missing. There's replacement sound effects. Some of the voiceovers are missing. I found it quite a good jumping off point. That was done in 1972. I guess it was a rough mix for the band to refer to. What's noticeable is the bass is very at the front of the mix, and And although it sounds like the album was almost ready, you can hear that there was just a little bit of audio tweaking that needed to be done. But again, it's a really good archive piece to present to the fans. Again, it is a bit of overkill, but this is meant to be the ultimate Dark Side of the Moon box set. Then you get a track from the Household Objects project. Now that was where the Floyd decided to make music with objects they found around the house. Hence the title, Household Objects. And they made a bass guitar out of rubber bands and played wine glasses. It's called. There's a track. The track's called The Hard Way, and well, it doesn't sound like Pink Floyd. It's interesting to say the least, but I don't know if it warrants buying a whole box set to hear it. Then you get a demo of Us and Them with Richard Wright just noodling on the piano. Again, it's the song in a very embryonic form. I read in an interview the original piece was meant to be on the soundtrack of More, I believe, but the director didn't want to use it, so they held it over and they found space for it on Dark Side of the Moon. Then you get 3 live tracks: the Travel sequence, the Mortality sequence, and Any Colour You Like from the Live in Brighton 1972 concert. Again, these are pieces that were in the middle of the live performance that never made it onto the album. You know, it's a bit choppy. You know, I mean, you can see why they were dropped. They were, you know, unformed, you know, half baked, if you will. The Travel sequence also reappears on the penultimate track of the box set. They did a studio version of it, which you can hear all cleaned up, and again, obviously they realised it wasn't good enough to make the cut and they dropped it from the album. And finally you hear Roger Waters' demo of Money, which sounds more almost like a blues. It's more of a bluesy performance. He sounds like some Mississippi Delta blues man, and it's nice and rough and ready and doesn't sound anything like the song it turns into, you know, once it was all, you know, spit and polished up. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting to hear. So you get a lot for your money. There's a lot of Dark Side of the Moon to wade through. I mean, again, in terms of audio experience, it's very rewarding. But if you're familiar with the album, you know, you've got to be a mega fan to really buy into this. But you know, there are some people out there that, you know, if they've not heard the SACD mixes, or or just have to have the live material, will buy this. And you know, it's it's good. It is good. You know, you also get a load of other gubbins, like 3 collectible marbles with the Dark Side of the Moon logo on, and a little bag to keep them in. I don't know why they did it. Obviously they think that Pink Floyd fans want to play marbles after they've worn themselves out listening to Dark Side of the Moon. There's also a scarf to keep you warm, because again, the average Pink Floyd fan's probably in their 70s now and probably going to get rheumatism playing marbles out in the cold, so that's why you need the scarf. Then you've got some postcards. There's a ticket, a replica ticket to a concert, and a really crappy backstage pass. All this stuff is detailed on my unboxing video. If you want to click through, you can look at it in detail. There's a nice art print where Roy Lichtenstein, the pop artist, has reconfigured the album cover. I quite like it. And then you get 2 very glossy booklets. One's a 36-page, 26 by 26 booklet with all the artwork from the album. What was interesting about that booklet, I noted, was it only had the credits for the 4 CDs, which kind of gave the indication that it was only ever meant to be a 2 CD, 2 DVD collection, and that they threw in disc 5 and 6 at the last minute. Either that, or they just didn't have time to amend the booklet. The booklet's very lush, loads of pictures. Little lacking in interviews. There's no interviews in there per se, just something from Storm Thorgerson moaning about the band not liking his designs. Could have been hardback because it's softback and catches a load of a load of fingerprints, you know. There's also a second booklet. It's 20 pages, 26 by 26 again, which is a tour booklet with loads of pictures of the band from their touring period at that point. Which is, I mean, I've not seen a lot of those pictures. Not sure. I mean, again, I'm not sure if those pictures have been widely circulated, but you know, it's good if you're a mega fan and you want to see all of that. Question is it worth £90 odd? I don't know. I mean, I think it's quite an extravagance. You know, you've got to be a real mega fan to enjoy it. You know, I bought it purely because, you know, I wanted to hear the surround sound mixes and that, you know, and also I'm a bit of a sucker for a box set. But maybe you could ask for it for Christmas. Maybe Father Christmas will bring it to you if you've been a good boy or girl. The one thing that astounded me is the warning sign. This little warning sticker on the box set that says, and I shall read this to you verbatim. I'll flash up the picture of what it says. This is not a toy. The contents of this box are collectible products intended only for persons aged 14 years and older. Warning, choking hazard, contains small parts, not suitable for children, 14 plus. Now, I think I bought my first copy of Dark Side Moon when I was about 13, so I wouldn't have been able to buy this box set. So I think that's a load of old bollocks myself. So that was a curious thing. So anyway, on to my review. Yeah, if money were no object, I would give this 4 prisms out of 5. But because there's a recession on, and money's too tight to mention these days, I'm going to knock that down to a 3 out of 5, purely because I think it is a little bit excessive. You know, they could have maybe brought this in at $59.99 or something. Again, a lot of the content is replicated. I think some content was missed out. There was no real new material from the band, no new interviews in either the booklets or on the DVD/Blu-rays. You know, it would have been nice to get a contemporary view of those albums from the band, especially with the passing of Richard Wright. Maybe, you know, the band could have used it to reflect on his contribution. So, you know, I think it's good. Could have been better. Could have put a little bit more stuff in there to make it worth the £90. So that's that. Am I mad? I've always been mad. You have to be mad to buy a box set like this. Will I be buying Wish You Were Here? Probably. Will I be buying The Wall? Oh, I don't know. Waiting for them to finalise the content. But check back, subscribe. There'll be unboxing reviews. It's going to be a busy month this month. We've got new Steve Hackett album out. Stephen Wilson's album's out as well. And you've got the King Crimson latest remasters. So again, subscribe, check back. I will be working my way through those eventually. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Check out the unboxing for this box set. It's the previous video in the sequence, so scroll back or do whatever you want to do. And yeah, my name's been Darren Locke. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I bid you adieu. Clear off. Go and listen to Dark Side of the Moon. And you better prog on.